Okay, so this time we're going to be taking a look at the second wave of figures from the 2012 relaunch of the Marvel Legends figures from Hasbro. And our first figure here is not one of my favorite characters. In fact, I pretty much loathe this character. More on that later. Let's take a look at the package here and see they've eschewed a write-up of any sort. You just get this brief note here about Daken, or what they call Dark Woverine here, and that's it. You do get a look at the other characters. There are several variants, and this, they call it a running change, but it's really just an alternate character. And you get 2 Wrecking Crew members and 2 Madam characters. I guess you would say Madam Mask or Madam Hydra. And the variants, you get an unmasked Dark Wolverine and the Future Foundation Spider-Man instead of the big time Spider-Man. As you can see here, I've gotten the unmasked Daken, or Dark Woverine. As a figure, he's alright. I do like the details on his bone claws. He only has 4 of them showing. The third one, if you don't know the character, comes from underneath his wrist, and thus would get in the way of the articulation there. So they decided not to add that in the extended mode, I guess. I do like the mask piece here that they've added to fit around his collar. Really does look like the mask has been pulled off and is sitting there, resting on the back there. The mohawk, while I guess kind of goofy, it is sculpted pretty nice, like it's blowing in the wind. For some reason, a lot of this wave has loose belts. For some reason they don't want to glue them. They kind of just float on the figure, and it's not too bad, but it is a little bit annoying. Just one thing to notice in my figure, maybe it's not all figure, but there's this huge gap here that is formed on the forearm there. I've tried pushing it down, and it just keeps reforming. That's kind of unfortunate, but as this is not one of my favorite characters, it's not that big of a deal for me. Now, paint-wise, he's pretty good. There is this kind of splotch here on his chest. But for the most part, he's pretty clean. Clean paint job. They did a nice job on the tattoos here. It's something that also annoys me, tribal tattoos. For accessories, he doesn't come with any besides the Tales of Arnim Zola catalog and the Piece of Arnim Zola. However, my thing, they made a mistake, and they gave me the number 5 of 6 portion that should come with Phantom X, and I did get one of these with my Phantom X figure. So I'm just wondering if that's happened to anybody else. But I do not have a number 1 of the little Tales of Arnim Zola packets that they distribute with this. That not that it's not that it really ticks me off, but because I already know a lot about Arnim Zola, but it would be nice to have a complete thing. But I understand mistakes happen. For articulation, he's got pretty much the standard articulation for the Marvel Legends. He does use a bit of pieces from older figures. His head is very nice, goes up and down pretty well. Although his neck is craning a bit far forward. It's not too bad, but that left and right, and there. He's got the extra shoulder joints, so he can move just a little bit forward and back at the shoulders. Arms go all the way around, out to the side. Rotate at the bicep, double elbows. His forearms rotate, and his wrists rotate as well as bend forward and back. He's got ab crunch pretty far forward, and not so much back though. He's got waist articulation. The legs are the old Hasbro joint there that you have to really manipulate both the ball joint and the thigh joint there for him to move his legs forward and back. He's got a double knee joint. His legs rotate at the boot there, top of the boot. His feet go forward and back, have a very nice ankle pivot, actually a little bit loose there, and he actually has toe joints, something we haven't seen in many characters, many figures of late. Again, I really do not like this character. I've come across him seldom. I actually kind of try to avoid him, but sometimes it's they don't make it easy. He first appeared in Wolverine Origins in 2007. Number 10, I think. Yeah, number 10. And his history, he's of course the son of Wolverine. And it all goes back to post-war Japan. In 1946, Wolverine was living in Japan, and he had found a wife, and someone had arranged through the Russians to send the Winter Soldier to kill his pregnant wife. I think her name was Mitsu or Itsu, something like that. So anyway, Winter Soldier does shoot his wife, and then this mystery man cuts the baby out of the dead mother's womb. And then he is left on the doorstep of a wealthy Japanese couple. And they basically adopt him as their son. And then that's where he gets his name, Akihiro. However, when they get pregnant, or more more to the point, when his adoptive mother gets pregnant and the baby is born, he's really jealous. And so he kills the baby. Yes, he kills the baby, and the father, of course, freaks out, and he goes off and is disowned. And I don't know much more than that. The next thing I know is that he does kind of share some really bad writing with the X-Men Origins movie, the X-Men Origins Wolverine, or whatever that title is, by being the victim of an amnesia bullet. Yes. He gets amnesia for a while. But he regains his memory, and I know that one of his goals is to gain the Muramasa sword, which was a samurai sword owned by the head of the clan Yoshida that had several mystical properties, and he wanted it to, I guess, lace his bones with, his bone claws with, so he could be even more like Wolverine, which for some reason he grew up hating. And so he goes after this blade, and he does for a while manage to break off a piece of it, and I think he uses it on one of his third claws. I'm not sure. He's approached by Norman Osborn to join the Dark Avengers and the Dark X-Men, and that's where he somehow gets one of Wolverine's old and probably the best costume that Wolverine has had, the brown costume, which I absolutely is another reason for me to hate the character. I'd much rather see Wolverine back in this brown suit than anything that he wears now. So what else does he... Oh yeah, he kills and dismembers the Punisher, which leads into that wonderful story of Frankencastle. He runs into the Runaways when he's after the Pride, or a member of the Pride, or an ex-member of the Pride, trying to get this drug called heat or blood heat, something like that, and it increases his powers, really amps him up, but he eventually finds out that it's slowly killing him and interfering with his healing factor. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention his other really weird and, badly written power of pheromones. He emits pheromones, so he's able to manipulate people through the use of these pheromones. His sexuality is ambiguous, so, but with him, it's more like controlling people than actually having feelings or, emotions about them, or, even attraction. It's about control. I know he's a popular character for some reason. I just don't get it. Anyway, so that is Daken, or Dark Woverine. Can I recommend him? I mean, if you're going for the Arnim Zola parts, you're going to have to get him. But, I don't really have any affinity for the character, so I can't really suggest you go out and get him. So stay tuned for the next review, which will be on Pile Driver, and Until next time, I'll see him.